Do you ever feel like time is passing so quickly that all those great intentions you've had might never be? That if you were going to do it, you would have done it by now? I think there are a fair number of people for whom that thought is never very far away. So I'd like to tell you a little story, a true story, about stopping time. So almost everyone who's familiar with Brainy Video knows that I'm mad for flying. And some even know I've been a pilot for a lot of years. But what almost no one knows is how long it took for me to learn to fly. Every year I'd take a lesson or two with great hope in my heart. Then something, poverty, whatever, would rise up and knock the dream unconscious. This went on for 10 years. And it finally happened when it should have been too late. So I was working part-time in an elementary school in the sticks of North Carolina, barely making enough money to buy food for my wife and baby. But every day on my way to work, I'd pass by a little country airport. You could see the runway from the road. Their office was a trailer up on cinder blocks. And every day I thought, oh, if only I'd done that when I was younger. One day, as I was passing by the airport, just like every other day, I asked a different if question. Not if only, but what would happen if I could fly one of those thingies? And before I knew it, I was walking into the trailer with my little log book with my 10 hours in it, and the instructor took one look at it, trying not to laugh, and said, "Steve, why don't we just start over?" And a few months later, I was a pilot. Oh, by the way, this is what they do to you after your first solo. They cut your shirt off and scribble on it. You know, I don't even quite remember how I paid for it. Some of it by washing airplanes. We didn't have credit cards, so I had to do it the hard way. Everything was about paying for those 3 lessons a week the instructor said I needed to make the learning sink in. But the thing is, for someone who loved this so much, I wasn't exactly a natural. I was sick to my stomach for the first 10 hours. I didn't solo for 24, twice as long as most people. The FAA requires 40 hours. It took me 65. But thanks to my instructor, KB, thank you, KB, I've been a pilot for over 20 years. Flying, for me, is proof that you can do a lot of things you set your mind to, even if it looks to the outside world like you have no talent for it at all. But here's the part of the story that surprises me the most looking back. In the same year I found the courage to become a pilot, I also decided to go back to school in video and go from part-time kindergarten teacher to full-time university professor, published author, video producer on an international stage, and the thing I'm most proud of, the relationship I have with you through Brainy Video. All by asking better questions and working toward a safe landing. Oh, by the way, this movie we've been watching, my very first film shot on Super 8. I wasn't very good at that either. Here's the point. Whether you're in your 20s or your 70s, it doesn't matter. If you're here, there's a reason. And by the way, I'm afraid you just don't have any excuses I'll believe. Yeah, like if you say you're petrified of being in front of the camera, I'll just tell you about when my airplane door opened on my first solo. If you tell me about your computer freezing up, I'll have to tell you about the time my engine died on takeoff and I missed crashing into a cement wall by that much. I don't say this to impress you. Well, maybe a little, but only because I want you to see this in perspective. You can learn to be an ace video marketer. You just have to work with an instructor who loves it and knows how to teach you how to do it too. And not just from 30,000 feet, but all the way from the hangar to the clouds. And then you can watch how when you change just one thing, everything else changes too. I'd love to help. In a few days, we're launching a new program called the Video Flight Plan, an immersive video marketing weekend for those who've decided that this is their time. You'll hear a lot more about this in a few days. For now, try asking yourself this question. If I take one step toward doing marketing the way I know I can, what step would that be? Write your answer below to help make it real. Till next time, I'm Steve Washer with BrainyVideo.com.